Greetings, everyone. Sorry for the little delay, technical difficulties, but we seem to have everything going, and fingers crossed it stays that way. So first I'd like to say hello. I think we have Ruth on, and I want to thank Robert for his super sticker that I really appreciate. It helps me to keep the show going. And I also wanted to mention, if you want to follow what's going on with me, go to my website, contact me. I'll get you on the mailing list. I promise I don't try to sell you a timeshare or anything. I just send out usually a monthly newsletter of what's going on, where I'm going to be. And I got really busy months coming up. So I'm excited for that. And I would love to be able to share that all with you guys. And today I have we have Melissa Parks on. Hello, Melissa. She's another show host with Goldylocks. And Erica, nice to see you. Thank you. And Marcia. Wow, it's like the Goldylocks show host reunion here, because we got Ruth, we got Melissa, and Marcia. So my guest this evening, she is a very, very dear friend. And I got to find my notes now. Her name is Elaine. She's a spiritual teacher, psychic medium, a Reiki master teacher, and an author. And she, like I said, she's a very, very dear friend of mine. I am so excited to have her here. We're going to discuss her book that she wrote. It's Marked with a C, Hope from the Hereafter. And it's really all about her departed son. And I loved the book, and I'm happy to have her. Please welcome Elaine.
Hi, Mary. I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm so
happy we finally got it together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I went against my usual not order from Amazon so I could get your book. It is available on Amazon, and I'm so happy that I did it. It really, it was such a heartfelt journey for you. I'm sure, writing the book, because it shines through. And I love the fact how Mark came through to all your psychic friends and how many people received messages from him. I never got to meet him in person, but I knew a lot about him through our friendship. So want to start just telling us the beginning and how his death occurred and all the things that brought you to the book.
The book was in my mind for a while. I kept getting write a book. And I'm going, write a book for what? And it so happened that I had an appointment at the Women's Center. And there was a woman there that I spoke to, and her daughter had died. And this was after Mark had crossed over. And I told her, no, you have to have hope, sweetheart. Your daughter's with you all the time. And that woman, I could see the healing in her. I'm getting chills right now. I could see her healing. I could see her letting go of the grip of grief. I really could see that. And she turned green as I watched her. And then I went in to have a sonogram or whatever, and it was dark. The technician left, and I heard Mark say, are you ready to write the book now? You could see the healing. Are you ready to write the book?
Yeah.
And so I did. And that book, and I hate to say channeled, but that book was given to me by Mark and God and the Holy Spirit and all the angels and everybody up there. That book was given to me. I wrote that book in 4 months. And it's amazing. It's a story of hope.
And that amazing.
It is. It's a story of hope. It takes you through our grief, and it takes you so many places. You know that, Mary. But it takes you mostly through our grief into the signs and symbols that he sent me that I loved, that confirmed that he's fine. He's good. Everybody loves him where he is. And how
Yeah.
could you ask for more? As a mother losing a son, how could you ask for more? It's a beautiful book.
Right. Right. And it is. And I know that your grief was crippling because I spoke to you shortly after he crossed over, and I know how close you guys were. And the outpouring that came through of his friends with sending you emails, and you just really got a whole feeling of what a wonderful guy he was and how many lives he touched in such a positive way. And his time
Mark was
here.
a light worker. He was an absolute light worker. He brought light to everyone. And he had such a hard life. He struggled. He had challenges. But that's his journey. That was his journey. But he was such a light worker. It was hard.
I feel light workers.
It was really hard.
Yeah. I feel like light workers, we have a tendency to have many challenges, and we go through a lot of things to give us that compassion, that understanding, and the connectedness with others that need help. And sometimes we still are doing the work in the light, but personally, we're still challenging. We're still going through challenges and having our own personal hurdles to hop over. And Mark continued to have them.
And you're right, Mary. You're absolutely right. Just because we're light workers doesn't mean we're not immune from life. We're stuck in the middle. We're going to feel it 10 times more, maybe 1,000,000 times more than other people. You know, Mark, when you think about this book is a journey for Mark from being alive, struggling, being murdered, basically. He took fentanyl accidentally and he died. Mm-hmm. Crossing over and coming back to tell me to write the book. This is his book. And he wanted this book written to help other people. His journey wasn't done in the third dimension. It was he had to cross over to really complete his journey, and that's so beautiful. It really is.
Yeah, it truly is, and I can see where the book not only helps people who have lost a loved one near and dear, moms, siblings, who whatever, but I see where it can help other people that have the same kind of challenges that Mark had, because you share all of that in this book. And I know that you have gotten a lot of response about it, and you have many readers, apparently.
I do, Mary. I do. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Yeah, it's reached Australia now. So we're yes, absolutely. Yeah. So we're around the world.
Yeah. So I know, we kind of all stay in our little network of light workers and psychics. We all know each other and we do events together, and that basically is how we got to be friendly. We used to go to the same metaphysical chapel in Little River when we did our little time in South Carolina.
Little River, South Carolina.
That's right. And then we started to do their psychic fairs once a month, and we really built, even though we spoke at the services, we really built a real kinship there. So I heard many of your psychic friends mentioned, or several of your psychic friends mentioned in the book. Share some of that with us, of how they were all receiving Mark and how it was really affirming for you to have that collaboration.
I will, Mary. I will, because it blows my mind. After Mark crossed over, the next day, now you have to understand, water kicks my intuition into high gear. The ocean, a lake, the intracoastal waterway, or my kitchen sink, or the bathroom. There's a sink, a
Right,
commode, and a
right.
shower. And that's where I get like psychic hits. It's like, wow, the intuition's really going. And the day after he passed, I woke up, I slept through the night. I was told, you can only handle one day. You have to sleep now. Good night. And that was God. And I fell asleep and
Yeah.
I slept for 8 hours. How do you do that? And I got up and I was amazed. And I went to the sink and I was getting water, and all of a sudden the light blinked. I had a light on my counter and it started to blink. And I said, oh my God, Mark, is that you? And it blinked and blinked and blinked. And I knew he was here. And I looked over in my recliner and there he was sitting. And he said, I'm moving in with you. I'm moving in with you. And he put his hands behind his back in this recliner. He put his hands behind his head and he said, it's all good. It's all good. I'm going to move in with you. And I told him I was happy because he doesn't take a lot of space. But anyhow, my psychic friends, with my psychic friends, after he passed, it was about 2 months after he passed. And I was talking to one of my sisters, my psychic sisters, and I was thinking, you need a reading. You really need a reading. And while I'm thinking I need a reading, she's saying, would you like a reading? And I said, yes, that's what I want. I would like a reading. So she and two other sisters did a beautiful reading for me. And Mark came through loud and clear. And in that reading, he connected to one specific friend, Andy. And he calls her Aunt Andy in the book. He just loves Andy. And what he did for us for Christmas is unbelievable. For Christmas, I am a goat milk girl. I love the goat milk products, the shampoo, the soap, all that. I love that. Love, love, love. So does Andy. So it was Christmas and she had done so much to help me. So I decided I'm going to send her a goat milk package. So I sent it down I had moved now up north because of my back surgery. We'll go into that later. But Andy, he connected with Andy. I sent her a package and I called her every day and said, did you get your package? And she said, no. And I said, did you get your pack? No. And I said, okay, well, I'll call. So I called, it was a television shopping network, and I called them and said the package wasn't delivered. And he said, okay, ma'am, we'll deliver another one. I said, okay. So I called her back and said, you'll be getting another one. Apparently you didn't get one. And I said it was from Home Shopping Network. And she said, oh, that package. Oh, yeah, I got that. And I said, oh, my goodness. So she got 2 packages, okay. And then her daughter, who's connected to Mark. Mark goes, he's everywhere. He walks in their houses. She asked me, she called me and says, is Mark tall? And I said, yeah, he's 6'3", 6'4". He's in my living room. He's talking to the dogs. I said, okay. He loves these women. He loves you too, I'll tell you that. But anyhow, he sent Andy's daughter a package that she got. She opened it and she was so thrilled and called her husband and said, thank you. And he said, for what? And he said, the goat milk products. And he said, not for me. And I knew immediately. And she knew it's going to be on her bill, but she knew Mark put it in her cart. And that's what happened. And that Christmas, we all got Christmas presents. It's in the book. It's hysterical. We all got Christmas presents. And for payback, I gave money to the Humane Society, which they then thanked me for in memory of Mark. So he got a present and the dogs got a present and Andy we all got presents from Mark from the other side. So the book is beautiful. I would like to read this, Mary. This is the essence of this book.
Please do.
Mark said to me, Mom, if the messages and signs that I have sent you from the hereafter and that you have shared have given just one person on earth the strength to face their fears, then we're batting 1,000. If my afterlife messages and signs have given just one person on earth the determination to stop using drugs or quit their addictions and wake up to the love of a higher power, then we've earned the blue ribbon. If my messages and signs from beyond have given just one person on earth the courage to be their authentic self and to come out to their family and friends, then we're running on a full tank of gas. And if my messages and signs from the afterlife have given just one person on earth the inspiration to adopt an attitude of loving kindness, then we've won the gold medal. And if we have changed the life of just one person on earth and have given them hope, then, Mom, we have accomplished our divine purpose. We only need to help one person heal, Mom. Just one. That was given to me by Mark, and it gives me the chills because there's so much goodness in this book. There's so much challenges and struggles. The book's an easy read. It's like a second grade storybook. It's an easy read.
Yeah.
It's the heaviest material you'll ever try to digest. People have called me and said, Joy, I can't believe that I read the book and then turned around and read it through again because I needed to know more. I couldn't digest it all in one read. It's a beautiful book. It's a book of hope.
You didn't touch just one life.
No.
It's touched many, and it continues to do that. And that's the, beautiful ripple effect of what he went through and you writing the book and what you have went through with his life and all the things. And I remember back years ago sitting in the church and you were very worried about him. And, you always had this concern and now it's like, it's come so full circle because everyone's at peace. And his life was not, there was a reason for everything. And you see that, you get that and you share that out. And that takes a lot of courage. So you have become able to show your raw, authentic self and share your truth. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on. And after it was all over, it was a whirlwind of phone calls, emails. I got a phone call from a woman in tears who said to me, this book has changed my life. And she cried and she cried. And I said, God bless you. I mean, don't thank me. It's not me. My name's on the book only because it all came together that way, but I didn't write that book. But it changed her life. And another woman emailed me that she had given up drinking after 50 years. She said, I'm not going to drink anymore. I don't need to drink anymore. I understand. I mean, people are changed. People are coming out of the closet to their families. They're coming out. It's just beautiful. There was so much packed in that book, in the 200 some pages it is, that'll blow your mind. Blow your mind. It's easy read, heavy stuff.
Yeah, and when you said it's an easy read, and I know you, so when I read it, I could hear you like reading it to me. It was a beautiful experience, and of course I knew a lot of what happened, but to see it on paper, and I love that you shared some of your journal entries.
Yes,
about your experiences. Yeah, you want to touch on that?
Yes, absolutely. My favorite chapter in the book is chapter 2, Ghostwriter, where I was mulling over a book and he kept saying, write the book and he's going to be my ghostwriter. And he was, just playing with my mind. But that book really, I said to him, I don't know how to write a book. And do you want me to put out your dirty laundry and my dirty laundry? Do people need? And he said, you need to write this book. And if they point fingers, which they will, and they have, if they point fingers, that's theirs to own, not yours. So write the darn book. So I wrote the book. And at the end of that chapter, I kept saying, give me a sign, Mark, give me a sign. My niece came in with a birthday present early for me. And do you remember it was the rose? The rose with words and an orange butterfly. It was pages of a book. And she brought me that for my birthday, not knowing, had no idea I was going to write a book. I didn't either.
That's beautiful. It's more confirmation, more nudging going with that gift.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And there really are no coincidences. And I love that you shared really honestly the overwhelming grief that you had, and that you aired out your dirty laundry, and Mark was good with airing out his dirty laundry, because that's how we really help other people. And I know personally, my oldest brother, he drank and drugged himself to death. And then my second to the oldest brother took a lethal dose of heroin. And when that happened, when my second brother died, it was like, oh, my mother was telling me he had a heart attack. Just tell people he had a heart attack. And I'm thinking, why? Why are you going to lie? We struggled through addiction. We struggled through my brother's drinking, from the time I was little. And when I share this now, it helps so many other people. I had a client one time who lost a really near and dear friend to a lethal dose of heroin. And when we were on the session, he came through. But before he came through, I shared with her about me losing my brother. So it gave her that connectedness with me, that I understood her pain because I lived through it. And that's really how we help others. And you and I talk about this when we're on our phone calls about, it just even take one person, but sharing your raw truth and authentic truth is really how you touch lives. We all are very similar in the fact that we grieve, we go through things. And what I'm going through right now with my dear friend. And it's the struggle is real. It's a roller coaster ride, but the struggle is real. So there, it's just, the connectedness is beautiful.
It is. It's amazing. It's amazing that we talk in this book. We bring up bullying. We bring up pain, physical pain, headaches. We bring up being gay. We bring up having problems with eating disorders. That's mine. That's in there. This is all swirling around because this is life. And we're not where Mark is now, where everything is joyous and free and everybody loves everybody. We're on Earth. We're in the third dimension, girl. We're going to be struggling.
I know.
That's a given. But that's how we learn. And my heart is still ripped out. It will always be ripped out because Mark isn't here. But he is here. And that's the hard part to touch on. Right. I know I have told people about the book, and they have said to me, thank you for sharing, but I'm a Christian. And I laugh. And I go, okay, here's St. Michael, Jesus, the whole Mary, St. Anthony.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I get it. This has nothing to do with religion and everything to do with life and spirit. And it's just a beautiful book of hope. In the end, Mark becomes a philosopher, and he tells us about where he is and how it is there. But he tells us mostly how we're to live here. Do you remember the chapter on bubbles of love? Stay in your own bubble, girl. Stay in your own bubble, girl. If people would stay in their own bubbles, we wouldn't have crazy. But we do. Ego makes us want to, I could help you. I could tell you what to do. I know what's best for you. and we don't, because we
Yeah.
don't know anybody's journey. And we don't know that on that journey, we have no idea what they need. And that was your brother's journey. You're
Right.
both brothers. My son's journey. And there you're talking about fentanyl now. You're bringing up a whole new struggle.
Yeah.
People are dying left and right like flies. It's horrible. And there's nothing we can do. And nothing can be done.
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, could I find out who did this to you? He told me no. He said, but they know they're killing people. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation of the things that they're doing to kill people, and the drugs and the stuff that's out there. I mean, the deaths with overdosing and drugs and prescription drugs and the combinations. People don't understand the number of deaths that are created from that. You know, when they think of an overdose from drugs, right away they think it's some junkie in an alley. And it's not. It could be the combination of prescription drugs. You know, they don't, you go to one doctor for one thing and another doctor for another thing, and they prescribe prescriptions without looking at your list, your laundry list for some people of what you're taking and what happens if you mix the two together. And it's creating such a problem, and like so many other things in the world, people just kind of rather not look or rather not see, because it's, you know, it's
You're
better
right, Mary.
and safer. Yeah.
Well, how much easier?
Ignore it, it'll go away.
I know. After Mark crossed, I talked to the police, and then I talked to the medical examiner, who told me he was thinking that Mark's death was an aneurysm because he went immediately. He said, but we'll have to wait for toxicology. Now, it was during COVID, 2020, the world was falling apart. People were really dying. We knew friends who had died. So he said, toxicology report is going to take some time. And I think 4 months later, after living with my son died from an aneurysm, I had to live with my son died from an accidental overdose. How do you do that? How do you do that?
Right.
And I thought, no, I'm going to tell people that he died from an aneurysm. And I knew I couldn't do that, Mary. I knew that I had to face my truth. And if they point fingers, let them judge. I mean, I'm judged all the time. That's fine.
Right.
But you have to face your truth. I would have never got through the grieving process as much as I have if I would have lied. If I would have lied about the way he crossed over. So I had to be honest. And when we start to get honest with ourselves, that's when we heal. And that book is this book, honestly, this book is about bringing honesty into your life. Honest. Listen, I've had problems. This is what I had to do. He's had problems. This is what he had to do. You have to be honest, because the truth and love, truth and love is all there is.
And if you're not honest, I mean, being honest, haters are going to hate regardless. So be your truth, be honest. And then we don't have to worry about this or that. So we got a couple of people on saying hello. Carolyn Carey, who's another show host, is on. She said hello. Robert, who is a faithful lawyer. Yeah, they're all saying hello. And Carolyn said, I'm so sorry for your loss, Joy. Thank you for sharing your story in this book. Yeah.
Thank you,
for
Carolyn.
sharing your story.
Thank you.
That is so true. Yeah. And it's available on Amazon, Mark with a C. It's fabulous. It's an easy read. There's so much, like Joy was saying, with addictions and different pain and all the grief and everything. When we come back, because we're going to take a quick little break from the commercial, when we come back, I got to get into the Mark with a C thing. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll be back We'll be back in a few seconds. It's like 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're back, and the book title, Mark with a C, comes from, and I hope you can see the picture. I don't know if you can. Was he in like a Starbucks, and he ordered his coffee, and the girl asked the name, and she said Mark with a C, and she spelled it C-A-R-K. And I have to laugh because that post went all over social media because I saw it and I didn't realize it was your Mark that had that happen until I read the book.
It did.
So
in
you were
fact,
calling him Kark?
We were calling him Kark, especially when after he passed, when he came back and carked us. I mean, did strange things, funny things that made us laugh and made us, amazed. But I was checking out Mark with a C one time, and it was the picture, Kark, the coffee cup with Kark on it,
Yeah.
was a featured article in a magazine in the UK, like the Star magazine here. They have one in
Really?
the UK, and they did a whole article on Kark. Yeah, and they had no idea it was my son, but my son's coffee cup is famous. So, yeah, that was fun.
Yes, it is.
And
I'm sure the article was just about the
stupid names that they put on the coffee cups.
Right. It's like Mark with a C. That just, maybe that's part of the reason why the world's where it's at. Somebody would change the M to a C and not the K to a C. We're in trouble.
I tell you, we are in big trouble. We are. But Mark was, I have two sons.
Yeah,
I have two sons, and they're both remarkable. They're both remarkable. And I want to say something else about a remarkable person. I'm going to talk about Mary and how remarkable you are in helping people heal. I really want to tell everybody that if you need help, Mary's your girl. Mary's your girl. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Joy. But I feel like
you're welcome. I mean that.
Lot.
I mean that.
Yeah. I like when I do the show alone. I love to have guests because I don't want it to be about me. I'm a Leo with Virgo, and I just, Leos are usually like the star of the show, want to be in the limelight, and that is not who I am. I like to just do my work undercover, but I put myself out there because I'm guided to put myself out there, and we showing your raw truth, overcoming. And you and I talked about this not too long ago, stepping outside that false comfort zone that isn't even comfortable as much as it's familiar. And 6-7 years ago, I would never have gotten up in public and done a lecture or speak. And I think I shared with you at one time, when we had to do oral book reports in school, I would be physically ill because I didn't want to have to go and do it. And and look at where I'm at now. And it's like second nature. And the first time I lectured in public, there were a group of people in the front row. And after I finished, the one woman came up and she said, "How long have you been doing this?" Because I couldn't, it was just like captivating, everything that came out of your mouth. And I'm like, well, to tell you the truth, this was the first time. So the Holy Spirit moves in mysterious ways for sure. But that's
That's
it. You got to
it.
put that trust in the divine.
That's it. And
And
like I
another thing
said,
that you had brought up, go ahead.
the book amazes me in that everybody that have purchased a book or read it on Kindle or whatever, because it's available on Amazon, they shared it with somebody else, which is great. Great. I make what, 10 cents a book, big deal. Share that book. Share that book, because the person they shared it with then buys 2 more books for their family members, who then share it with somebody else. And you talked about the ripple effect. This book has made it to Australia, Mary. Australia. I
Yeah,
have
that's
readers
amazing.
all over. It's amazing. It's
So
amazing.
you
It's a
had mentioned,
sleeper. It's not up there.
yeah,
It's not the #1 New York Times bestseller. It's a sleeper, but it's a
you
heavy
never know.
duty. No, you don't. You don't. You don't know
You
what's
never know.
between the covers. No.
So when you mentioned about the Christians that
Oh,
wouldn't read the
yes.
book, and you're showing the medals, and I'm thinking this is the woman who does the rosary walk. You know,
Yeah.
and I get it. And I just finished because I'm doing my Christian spiritual counseling certification, and there's many classes to take before you're fully certified. And I just finished it was the Christian views of seers, or forget the exact title of it. And it was probably one of the most amazing classes that I've taken, because being raised Catholic, and I have a lot of Christian beliefs and foundations, and not that I'm into the dogma of the churches, um, but it really makes sense, because we are doing the work. We have that gift of receiving spirit to be able to be a seer, a light worker. And it's because there's that overtone of, oh, you're casting spells and you're doing something that's worshiping Lucifer, and it's so not that. We walk in the light of love and God. That's it. And we do the work
That's
that we have been given to do. And
that's it,
that's,
Mary.
and there are people out there that are doing it for all the wrong reasons and worshiping the wrong people, but that's any industry.
Sure.
Look at our government, it's like, talk about doing the wrong thing for the wrong reasons, But so it's, I don't know. Do you know who Michael Knowles is? He has a show on the Daily Wire, and he's a Christian. I believe he's Catholic. And he does these interviews, and he had this woman who used to do astrology, and she's like, you know, born again now, or came, and how evil that is. And I'm like, I, no. And there's another very famous psychic who did a lot of tarot decks and different
Mhm.
things like that. And I don't really want to say her name.
Right.
Um, but she became born again, and now all of that is of the devil. And it's like, come on. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all, because it is not of the devil unless you make it
I
of the devil.
That's exactly it. Wherever you go, that's where you are. And if you stay in light and love and angels and Jesus and Buddha and all the good in the world, God, that's where you are. And
Right, right,
it's funny, but we were given spiritual gifts by the Holy Spirit. I know I
right.
was. You were. And that one of
Yes,
those gifts is prophecy. Prophesying.
right.
That's what we're doing. But that's okay. Everybody's on their own journey, in their own time, on their own way. So we allow for that.
Right. Yeah, and it's not black or white all the time either. You stay in the light, and like we were talking about, that we're here in this human form, in this life. So we get things that, are very challenging at times. And does your faith waver? I don't know if it's necessarily my faith wavering, but I question. Like, okay, how much more? How much more? What's the lesson in this one? Why is this happening? Because there's always a divine reason for all occurrences, whether they feel good or not. It's what you
That's
do
it.
with them. And it's, like Mark's journey and your struggles, and you shared them in this beautiful book. And I recommend, if you do Kindle or buy it on Amazon, do it. It is well worth it, and share it, because you're going to get something from it. You don't necessarily have had lost the, a child, but there's, like Joy was saying, there's so much in there about addictions and struggles and homosexuality and all of these things. And it's truth. It comes out very raw and honest, and you can feel it. You can really feel the emotion when you read the book. And it's not the same for everyone, but you can connect to it. You can connect to it.
The loveliest response I ever had from a reader was from a widow who likes to eat breakfast out and take her books and read while she eats. And she was at the restaurant, and she was laughing, and then she was crying, and then she was laughing, then she was snorting, then she was crying. And the waitress came over and said, "Honey, what are you reading?" And she said, "Mark with the C, Hope from the Hereafter." And the girl said, "I got to buy that book." She said, it makes you laugh and cry all in the same breath. It's written from the heart. It's real. There is no proof there. This is just all realness. Everybody says that knows me, that has read it, says they could hear me talking. And you even said that, Mary. You said you can hear me talking to you in the book. Basically, that's it. I'm talking, just telling what I know, telling the truth.
Yeah. In the Joy's style, that beautiful style of love and light that you have with you all the time. And
thank you.
Everything you do is with that intention of
absolutely
spreading love and light to everyone. And you jumped in when I shared what is going on with my friend, and you're sending her Reiki and holding her in the light, and you sent me Reiki, which I really appreciated, because that first 2 days of when I found out what was happening was very, very difficult for me. And it still has been, because it's like the waiting game. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
No,
they
right.
Yeah, it's just 1 minute it's, oh, she's doing better. Next minute it's 24 hours. And then it's like, you don't know, but the good Lord knows. And that's what I'm holding on to. I just know
That's
that no
it.
matter what, this is all happening for a reason. And I think yesterday when we talked about it, I had said that, her life, her time here isn't finished. So what she's enduring or not enduring, because she's not conscious, someone's getting something from this. And I had shared this with my dad at the end of his life, because he had the Parkinson's and he struggled so much. And with his Catholic belief, he had said that God was mad at him, and why was he still there struggling? And I turned around and I said, "You could forget that Catholic bullshit right now, Dad." And he looked at me and I said, you're not done here. Your work is not done.
That's right.
Your suffering is teaching someone something. It's not in vain. And he looked at me and he was like, "You really get this, don't you?" And I said, "Yes." I think it was the first time I ever really snapped back at my father about Catholic bullshit. Because he was like St. George. He was such a devout Catholic. He really was.
And that's wonderful.
Man. And he lived in the
That's
light.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But in the book, Mark, Mark did a lot of signs at first, signs, symbols to show me he's here, to show others he's here, to give them hope. And what I love about where Mark is, in that dimension, you could be everywhere at one time there. You could be with me, you could be with you could be all over. And I love that. And he was flitting around. But anyhow, at the end of the book, he started to be a philosopher. And he said, do you remember when he said, you're like a good bra, Mom? You lift and support. Yes, he told me, you're a good bra, Ma. You lift and support. You're a light worker. And he started to be a philosopher. But he did touch on suffering. And he did say that knowing now what he knows, suffering is truly here for a purpose. It might not be happy for us to be suffering, but everybody else is getting a lesson, getting what they need from that suffering. You never know. Suffering is necessary. Suffering is good. And then after the suffering, when you know that soul has gone on, that's just amazing. It really, I don't have any other word but amazing. They're not suffering anymore. Your heart is lighter. Your heart is free. It's going to grieve, but you're going to grieve happy. And I know that's an oxymoron. How do you grieve happy? But you can grieve happy. You can grieve from the depths of your soul and just be happy for how they passed, how they crossed over. I know you mentioned me doing a rosary walk. I do a rosary walk every night. I have had back surgery. In fact, I have had my entire back reconstructed, and I am a miracle. The doctor said, you will have complications because you're old. And I said, you're full of nothing. And I said, I'm not listening to you. I don't know. I can't hear you. And I had none, so I'm great. So every night with my walker, I walk and pray the rosary because, number one, Mother Mary is my constant companion and best friend. Next to you, Mary. But Mother Mary is really something, and I really have a heartstring connection with her. And people ask me for prayers, and I volunteer prayers. Prayer works. So I volunteer prayers, and every night I walk and I pray the rosary for all the people that I said I would pray for. And that's so beautiful. I get a chance to pray for Mark and for you and for your friend and for your brother's souls, and just everything is prayerful when I do my rosary walk at night.
And there is power in prayer. You see it. You really see it. And sometimes people will say, well, yeah, my prayers weren't answered. Well, maybe they weren't answered because it was in your best interest that they weren't answered. What were you praying for? And, it's like we don't want to lose loved ones. And we pray that they get better and they hang in there. But if that's not the divine's path for them, then your prayers are answered because they're like you said, they're no longer suffering. They're in a better place. You have joy. You can have the love of knowing that they're in a better place, but also the love of being grateful that you had the time that you did with them and the joy they brought you while they were here. And it's not looking at what you don't have. You look at what you've been blessed with. And we're so focused on, well, I don't have this, or they left, or I can't go on, or, like you're with your back. If you say you're going to have a problem, you're going to have a problem. And if you tell the doctor, oh, no, I'm not, you're not. And I'm a strong believer of that because when I was diagnosed with the Lyme disease and I was so sick back in the 90s, I went for like an insurance evaluation, I guess it was. I don't remember why, but the doctor said to me, oh, you're going to need knee replacements by the time I'm dead. By the time I was 40, I was like, hell, I am. That's when I got into fitness and strengthened the muscle. I still have both knees. I did have to have a hip replaced, but I don't know what caused that. Just probably all weightlifting and stuff that I did for all those years. But you play hard, you wear things out.
Things
But
wear out.
I am
Things
not.
wear out.
That's right. Well, yeah, because our soul goes on, but our bodies don't. You know, they're only meant for so long, and there is natural aging, but we can do things to slow that down as well. But yeah, I was like, hell no, I'm not going to need knee replacements at 40. So I'm
Exactly.
hanging in there.
I know.
Yeah, and
I
you
had
are
a
a
little
walking miracle.
twitch. I am a miracle. Last time I saw my doctor was the 2-year checkup, and he said, after 2 years, you don't need me anymore. But you know where I am if you do need me. And I said, I won't need you anymore. Thank you. I love you, but goodbye. And I had a little twitch that occurs here. It's like I'm saluting the flag, but it comes from my back. And the doctor said, oh, I know what that is. I put 3 rods and 64 pins in your back. And one of those pins is like 1 millimeter off. And I can go in and fix that. And I said, shut your mouth. You ain't going in anywhere. You are not going in anywhere. I'm fine. I will salute the flag for the rest of my life. That's okay. But it's a mind thing. And like Mark
Yeah,
said, lose your ego, drop your ego. That's where all the problems come from. Because
right.
the truth and the ego are battling. You can't have truth and you can't have ego. It's not going to work. So drop
Right.
your ego. You will be surprised at the healing that occurs when you drop your ego and trust in a higher power. I had an atheist neighbor, a wonderful woman, wonderful. And she read my book because I was an old neighbor. And she called me and she said, I've changed my mind about a lot of things because I read your book. And I said, holy smoke, yeah. So, I mean, it's all about spirit. It's all about living a spirit-driven life and crossing over back into spirit.
Right.
So it's
Right.
beautiful. And I'm going to show everybody my shooting star, my Mark. There's my babe.
Yeah.
Mark with the C, Hope from the Hereafter. Available on Amazon. It's quite a read.
It is quite a read.
And I would like people to please text me or email me or call me or something and tell me how much it moved their soul, because I love those calls. Those calls are wonderful.
Yeah, it keeps you
and
going.
Thank you for letting me be on your show, Mary.
Letting you. I couldn't wait to get you on here. I mean, we talked about it a while ago, and then, you know, your schedule and my schedule and things. And I'm so glad that we finally got it together. And
Me
I'm so
too.
glad
I love you.
I love you too. And we're in 2 different states now.
Yes.
But I love that we have connected again, that we're talking on a regular basis. I need your help as much as you need me to help.
Absolutely.
We're going through different things at different times, but it is, and man, we have some laughs. I see where Mark gets his humor from, mother.
We are on the same journey, but in different states, doing different things, but on the same damn journey, Mary. The same journey. You know, I could jump in your body and you could jump in mine, and we'll still know what's going on.
Right.
So,
and we've lived the addictions and the crap and the everything, and you know, we get it. And when you said about you got to let go of the ego and be in the spirit, because that doesn't work together. And you know, our human side, the ego, so many people have a hard time admitting they're wrong, or they made a mistake. We all do. That's part of life, you know, and nobody's better than anyone else. We are all the same, no matter what color your skin is, what country you lived in, what town you grew up in, or what you had. It is just a beautiful, beautiful thing to embrace, that we are all equal and we all come from love. We are all loved and we are all loving. We should be, at least. Yeah. So we got to share that. So everyone's saying fantastic show. Oh, and I got to say hi to Kathy O'Grady, Stetson, who said, oops, I'm late, better late than never. And it's recorded, Kathy, so you can go back and listen to what you missed. Kathy and I, we're from the same hometown, and we had graduated high school
Homies,
together back.
homies. You're homies.
Yeah. There's a few that follow me that I knew me from high school. Big difference, I bet, from the girl that you knew in high school. And
Thank
then
God.
Anne Marie.
Thank God.
Oh, and then there's Anne Marie on here.
I think that's my friend Anne Marie.
Battinelli. Anne Marie Battinelli.
Battellini.
Right?
Battellini.
Yeah, yeah. She said she's so happy that she watched. Can you see the chat?
No,
Joy?
I can't.
No, on the side,
see it.
You're probably in private chat, and there's comments there, and Kathy says yes. We both ran away too. Yeah, we both left the hometown. I know. Sometimes we need to do that to grow.
Well, I'm holding up my book. I want everybody to buy it. Yeah, Loretta, tell Loretta that's dear Lula.
She said, "Slam dunk, Joy. Excellent podcast, my friend. Love you, Loretta." And I love Loretta's name. That was my grandmother's name, Loretta. So that's
a
very
beautiful name. That's a beautiful name.
Yeah, very, very beautiful.
And in the book, she's Lula. I gave away a secret. In the book, she's Lula.
Woo! She let the she said yes, Lula. So you don't mind that the cat's out of the bag, Loretta. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Oh, Joy, thank you for your honesty, your rawness, and sharing the journey and Mark's journey for the whole world to have available to read. It's such a beautiful thing. I'm getting goosebumps because I can feel that love and that energy. Yeah, it's definitely really worth the read. So I hope whoever's listening, I don't know if we had a link for the Amazon to buy it, but just Google it on Amazon or search it on Amazon. You'll find it because it's out there. That's what I did, and I'm anti-Amazon, and because I love Joy so much and had to read the book, I
that's called power.
I just sucked it up and ordered it. I don't usually do that. And Tiffany says the link is on the top of the chat. Scroll up. Okay, so there is the link to to order the book. And we appreciate
good. Everybody press that link and order it. Order 3 copies because you're going to need it.
And share them.
Absolutely.
And she also she also put up the links for my Venmo, and I appreciate any love donations to help me keep the show going, help me going. This is all, that's what it pays. It's either paid through donations or paid out of my pocket. So, and sometimes those months are tough. And then Anne Marie says, Joy is a very special lady. You know it. You know it. Oh. I know it. And anybody who reads the book knows it because it shines right through on here. Really do. Really, really does. And you're still, we still go through things with, life still throws us balls, but we got to keep lifting each other up, spreading that love and sharing it with other people. And remember that, like I said, we all are love. We're created in love, but we get so lost in the societal programming and the media and just the things, the drama, and then people get addicted to that drama. So it's time to let it go and step into your beautiful love and your light that was intended. Like my friend Joy, thank you so much for being here, Joy.
Thank you.
It really was a pleasure. And again, it's Mark with a C, Hope from the Hereafter. Make sure you get out there and get it or read it on Kindle because it's available on Kindle and it's definitely worth the read. And I'm sure you're going to talk about it and share it with other people. It's like I said, it touched my heart in very many ways. Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love you.
Thank you.
And I love everybody out there in TV land, wherever you are in the ether. I'm sending big
Yes,
love
but
to you.
whatever platform you're listening or watching, and even if you come in after, we love you.
Love you,
Thank you
love
all.
you. It's one of
Yeah,
these.
see
One
you
of
next
these.
week. Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.